2016 looks to be an absolutely gigantic year for the PlayStation 4, and in this video, we'll be counting down the top 25 upcoming PS4 games of 2016. Let's get into this. Number 25, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Originally released on the Xbox One in 2015, Rise of the Tomb Raider is set to come to the PS4 sometime later this year. The game was fantastic, and it was unfortunate that it didn't see the most exposure possible. Hopefully more people start to take notice of one of the best action-adventure games ever when it releases on PS4 at the end of 2016. Number 24, Matterfall. This is the latest game from Housemarque, who are known for some of the best downloadable PlayStation games in Super Stardust, Resogun, and Dead Nation. However, Matterfall will be their first attempt at a AAA big-budget game. Matterfall takes place in a future where you fight for control of smart matter that is overrunning the world. The game comes exclusively to the PlayStation 4 in 2016. Number 23, Far Cry Primal. Ubisoft is bringing yet another Far Cry game out, but this time with a twist. Far Cry Primal takes place in the Stone Age. The traditional gunplay of Far Cry has been completely removed in favor of what would be typical at that time, with the player being able to use weapons such as spears, clubs, axes, etc. You'll also be able to control and tame various different animals. Far Cry is a series that has been getting a bit stale, so it's nice to see Ubisoft adding a bit of variety with their latest outing. Far Cry Primal releases on February 23rd. Number 22, Hitman. Agent 47 is back in the latest Hitman game titled, well, Hitman. The game will have level design similar to that of Hitman Blood Money, where each level is its own mini sandbox to explore and do all of the various missions. The levels are set to be 6 to 7 times bigger than the previous Hitman games and Hitman Absolution. Contracts mode is coming back, and you'll even be able to create and share your own scenarios with various NPCs as assassination targets. Hitman is looking pretty promising. It releases on March 11th. Number 21, For Honor. For Honor is a medieval hack-and-slash game where you take the role of soldiers such as knights, samurais, and vikings. Different classes will have different abilities, weapons, and customization options. The game features a tactical combat system known as the Art of Battle. Ubisoft is saying that this combat system will let players feel the weight of the weapon in their hand. And while For Honor does have a big emphasis on its multiplayer, a traditional single-player mode will also be included. We don't have an exact release date for For Honor yet, but hopefully sometime in 2016. Number 20, Overwatch. Blizzard's new multiplayer first-person shooter will be coming to the PS4. Overwatch emphasizes cooperative gameplay, allowing you to play among the diverse cast of heroes, each with their own abilities and roles within a team. The game supports up to 12-player games, and currently we know about 2 game modes. Point capture, where an attacking team needs to capture points while the other team defends. Then there's also payload, where an attacking team escorts a vehicle to a delivery point. Overwatch is trying something a bit different with the FPS genre, and hopefully it delivers when it releases in June. Number 19, Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush was one of the PlayStation Vita's best games. Now a sequel is being released exclusively for the PS4. You play as Kat, a girl that can use gravity to float, walk on walls, and incorporate it into her combat. If you haven't played Gravity Rush, you should know that the first game is being remastered on the PlayStation 4, and that will be released on February 2nd. It'll be interesting to see how Gravity Rush makes the transition from the portable device to a home console, and we hope for the best because this could develop into one of Sony's marquee franchises for PlayStation. Gravity Rush 2 releases sometime in 2016. Number 18, Tom Clancy's The Division. Ubisoft has had a long road with The Division. The game was originally announced back in E3 of 2013. Since then, the game has seen several delays as well as an obvious visual downgrade. All of these things have caused a lot of people to forget about The Division, but this is still a game that has a lot of potential. It's an open-world third-person shooter with Diablo-like looting in an MMO setting. Yeah, at the very least, you have to say that The Division is an ambitious game. It's been a long time coming, but The Division finally releases on March 8th. Number 17, NIOH. NIOH is another game that's been in development for a while. It was actually announced back in 2004, but for a while the game has just been missing in action. The game was finally re-revealed at the Tokyo Game Show in 2015, and wow, it instantly became one of the most promising PS4 exclusives. The game follows the story of William, a samurai in the 16th century Warring States period of Japan. NIOH has a lot of resemblance to a game like Onimusha, and the gameplay looks very similar to Dark Souls. Yeah, that probably got your attention. NIOH releases on the PS4 sometime in 2016. Number 16, The Last Guardian. 2016 seems to be the year of long-announced games finally releasing. Here's another one, Team Ico's latest game, The Last Guardian. It's been a long time since their last game, one of the best ever in Shadow of the Colossus. Games that have been in development held this long always have a bit of skepticism, but if the game is even half as good as Team Ico's other creations, it'll be a quality experience. Expect an emotional ride out of The Last Guardian when it hopefully releases this year, barring any delays. Number 15, NIER AUTOMATA. Not many people saw the 2010 cult classic NIER getting a follow-up. However, that's exactly what's happening as Platinum Games is taking the reign for the development of NIER AUTOMATA. And the one complaint many people had with the original NIER was the gameplay. But considering who the developers are of NIER AUTOMATA, I don't think that issue is coming back. But what you can expect to come back is the stylish visuals and the excellent music. And if you've never played NIER, don't worry, you'll be able to enjoy NIER AUTOMATA as it's more of a spiritual successor. While we don't have an exact release date, expect to play the game in 2016. Number 14, Dishonored 2. Dishonored was one of the surprise hits in the 7th generation of consoles. Now Arcane Studios returns with the sequel, Dishonored 2. The game will include 2 playable characters this time around, Corvo, who was the protagonist of the first game, or Emily Kaldwin, the princess. The developers have also stated that there will be a 3rd path to the game, however details are still shrouded in mystery. The game has also been confirmed to be more challenging than the original game. Dishonored 2 doesn't have an exact release date either, but we do know that it's coming this year. Number 13, Street Fighter V. Capcom is finally releasing a new numbered entry into their famed fighting franchise with Street Fighter V. The game will feature 16 characters at launch, 4 of which are brand new to Street Fighter. Following launch, several characters will be added via regular updates. These characters can be unlocked using the in-game currency or purchased with real-world money. The gameplay is also being refined quite a bit with the inclusion of things like the new V-Gauge, which builds and adds various techniques. Street Fighter V is almost here as it's scheduled to be released on February 16th. Number 12, Doom. Doom is finally coming back in the form of, well, Doom. Doom's combat puts emphasis on momentum and speed. The game allows sprinting, double jumping, and it discourages players from taking cover or resting to regain health. The game has no health regeneration system, rather players collect health and armor pickups throughout the level. Obviously, Doom will also include an extensive multiplayer mode with various game modes, and the game includes Doom SNAPMAP, a built-in tool to construct custom maps or even new game modes and share them with people online. Doom is set to be released in Q2 of 2016. Number 11, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Fans have been clamoring for a follow-up to 2008's parkour platformer Mirror's Edge for years, and in 2016 you'll finally be getting it in the form of Mirror's Edge Catalyst. However, Catalyst will not be a sequel, rather it'll be an origin story exploring Fate's past. This time around, Mirror's Edge Catalyst will feature a sandbox-like setting allowing much more exploration by the player. The parkour and combat gameplay look better than ever, and with the game running on the Frostbite 3 engine, expected to look pretty damn good. Mirror's Edge Catalyst releases on May 24th. Number 10, Gran Turismo Sport. PlayStation VR is one of the big things Sony is prepping to release in 2016, and the marquee title for VR looks to be Gran Turismo Sport. While the game won't be exclusive to VR, the fact that you have a franchise like Gran Turismo having an emphasis on VR will probably move some units. It should also be noted that this game is a standalone entry to the GT series and shouldn't be looked at as Gran Turismo 7. The game has a big focus on competitive and esport-like events. The winners of these events will actually be honored in the FIA's annual ceremony in Paris. That's pretty cool if nothing else. Gran Turismo Sport releases sometime in 2016. Number 9, Mafia 3. Mafia 2 was one of the great games on the PlayStation 3, so it's no surprise that gamers have been eagerly anticipating Mafia 3. The game takes place in 1968. You play as Lincoln Clay, an orphan and a Vietnam War veteran that is seeking revenge for the murdering of his friends by local mobs. The goal of the game is to build your own mafia and get revenge. And while Mafia 2 was a fairly linear game, Mafia 3 this time around will be a full-blown open-world game with tons of content and exploration. The gameplay itself does seem more big-budget and actiony, which many might not like, but regardless, with how great Mafia 2 was, we hope Mafia 3 is just as good, if not better. The game releases in 2016. Number 8, No Man's Sky. Hello Games' No Man's Sky has been one of the PlayStation 4's most anticipated games since its original announcement in 2013. The game is extremely ambitious. The small team over at Hello Games is looking to create a game that amplifies the open world formula by making an open universe in No Man's Sky. Players will be able to explore procedurally generated planets, which will provide a ridiculous amount of content. However, the game does have a focus: to reach the center of the galaxy. How you do it and who you do it with is all up to the player. There are also rumblings that No Man's Sky will have PlayStation VR support, but that's still a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. Regardless, No Man's Sky is almost here with a tentative release window of June. Number 7, Persona 5. It's amazing that it's been nearly 8 years since the last mainline Persona entry, and what's even more amazing is that over the years, even without a brand new game, it seems as if Persona has been steadily gaining popularity. Persona 4 Golden on PS Vita probably had something to do with that, but regardless, Persona 5 is one of the most anticipated JRPGs of 2016. Expect everything you typically see out of Persona: intriguing story, a diverse cast of characters, great music, and so on. JRPGs have been pretty sparse on the PlayStation 4 so far, so Persona 5 releasing sometime in 2016 is something to get excited about. Number 6, Dark Souls 3. From Software is saying goodbye to Dark Souls with the third game. Who would have thought that 2009's Demon's Souls would end up spearheading one of the most popular video game series in recent memory? But that's exactly what happened. Dark Souls offered gamers a very challenging but also very rewarding experience. With excellent gameplay and a very atmospheric world, Dark Souls has become one of the most immersive game series ever. At this point, most of you have probably at least played a Souls game. It's definitely not for everyone, but for those that like challenge and depth to their games, it doesn't get much better than Dark Souls 3. The game releases on April 12th, 2016. Number 5, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. 2011's Deus Ex Human Revolution became one of the most popular RPGs on the 7th generation consoles. Now the guys over at Ubisoft Montreal are bringing you the sequel, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. The game takes place 2 years after Human Revolution, and once again you'll be playing as Adam Jensen. He has to deal with terrorist groups demanding equality for those that are augmented, as well as other mysterious occurrences. Deus Ex absolutely nails the cyberpunk setting, and as far as writing and world building goes, it's top notch. Mankind Divided was originally scheduled to be released in February. Unfortunately, it got delayed all the way until August 23rd. Regardless, we can't wait for it. Number 4, Mass Effect Andromeda. BioWare are renowned for creating some of the best RPGs of all time: Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age, and then you have arguably their most popular creation, Mass Effect. We don't even know that much about Andromeda, but just the fact that it's Mass Effect warrants it this high of a ranking. We do know that the game takes place long after the events of the third game in the Andromeda galaxy. It's been almost 4 years since the last Mass Effect game, so it's easy to see why people are so excited for Andromeda. The game is set to release Q4 2016. Number 3, Final Fantasy 15. It's a bit surreal to know that Final Fantasy 15 is being released this year. The game was originally announced back in 2006 as Final Fantasy Versus 13, a PlayStation 3 exclusive. At times we thought this game was never going to be released and it had been quietly cancelled. However, at E3 2013, Square Enix finally announced that the game was still in development under the new title of Final Fantasy 15. And it's easy to say that FF15 is one of the most ambitious JRPGs of all time. The visuals are a technical achievement, and just based off the episode Duskgate demo, you could tell that there was a lot of detail being put into the game. Let's just hope there's no more delays and the game sees a smooth launch this year. Number 2, Horizon Zero Dawn. One thing that gamers love to see is a new IP, an original idea, and that's exactly what Guerrilla Games is delivering with Horizon Zero Dawn. An action RPG set 1,000 years from the present in a world that is being dominated by mech-like dinosaurs. Yeah, it's original to say the least. And the fact that Guerrilla Games have an established franchise in Killzone and were still willing to take a gigantic risk with Horizon is commendable if nothing else. The game looks incredible, with the graphics being up to par with the best ever. Horizon Zero Dawn has potential to become a big franchise for Sony, and as long as Guerrilla can set up a great foundation with Horizon, it'll be a success. Horizon Zero Dawn is set to release sometime this year, probably in the fall. Number 1, Uncharted 4. Naughty Dog has become known as one of the elite game development studios. When they release a game, you know it's going to be excellent. Now with Uncharted 4, they are closing the book on one of their most successful creations ever, the story of Nathan Drake. He's once again dragged back into the life of fortune hunting when his brother appears seeking his help. Together they embark on a global journey in pursuit of a conspiracy in relation to a long-lost pirate colony. Naughty Dog has said that this will be Drake's greatest adventure yet, testing his physical limits as well as his resolve and what he's willing to sacrifice to save the ones he loves. It's gonna be sad to see Nathan Drake go out, but we know that he's leaving on a high note when Uncharted 4 releases on April 26th. That wraps up our countdown of the top 25 upcoming PS4 games of 2016. What do you think? Do you agree with our list? Disagree? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.